And welcome back to my slideshow of little additional pictures that are within my nearly 700 YouTubes in which I have. Well over 6,000 individuals have looked at it within the last year and viewing, and I've had a massive thumbs up, and I'm very, very, very happy. Matter of fact, I only had one insulting thumbs down, and it was over some guy that has an icon of a rat, and he goes around and criticizes everybody. I put my heart in this stuff, and some people like to be cold. I don't like to be cold. I like to have friends, and I like to tell the truth. And what I'm going to tell you is the story of Leonardo da Vinci and the Mona Lisa, and this is the younger Mona Lisa, and this is the older Mona Lisa, and this is the X-ray that is out of my painting. And if you follow my YouTubes, you'll find well over, like I said, 600. It's 5 short again, nearly 700, and all over 3,700 excuse me, of exact images into that are displayed in the picture, the painting. Now this is the Mona Lisa, and we're going to show you that these images that are floating in here are about the size of 20 times smaller than the grain of sand. And out of those images, I'm going to show you a few things here. Leonardo da Vinci did massive tricks. You'll find in my YouTubes that when it gets colored and changed into different forms, you'll find that her hands turns into black doves making love. They may be black crows making love, is my hypothesis. I was going to name my book that I had called The Crows. And if you know anything about crows and birds and such, what I did was studied a little bit. They actually become like man and wife, real tight, and they make all that funny sound that drive you crazy, to where you think that they're just making sounds to drive you crazy, but they're not. They're actually protecting themselves and telling them where the food is. I cut this image out, which you can see was a little wild cut, but what I had to do was reduce it and put it in between my man and woman to see how well it fit. You can see that these are little cut lines and paint marks. You can see a little face in here and a teddy bear with a hat. These are micro images. We're talking surgical images. I had the woman here that the young lady, my guess is 17 years old, that so happens to be, again, to fit in the middle of the median, and she fits perfectly. I have that in many of my other YouTubes if you want to follow. There's a lot of them to where it will show you the facts. If you take a look at this image, you can see that when you're looking at one little thing that shows up on your screen, but if you really hold off onto it, this is actually this area here that is probably 5 times smaller than a grain of sand. Actually, each little item throughout here is an image of a person building a person on a person, and then it goes the same here and here and here. Now this is a mouth, this is a nose, this is an eye, this is an eye. So this area here is the face, and this is a head. And then he builds this head on top of this head, and that head on top of this head, and head, and head, and head, and head, and head. The next thing you know, you got this long, slinky, darkish area here that has got hundreds of heads building like a totem pole like the Indians did. And you'll find that images are built like that end up microscopically sand grains that turn into the Mona Lisa. See, the Mona Lisa is a cartoon originally in a sense. of my analysis and turned into portraits from the cartoons, that because he's having fun, he's having a blast actually, more than what you get on a roller coaster. When he paints the Mona Lisa's face is a heart. You can see the heart running through, and you can see the point here, and there's a big side heart. You can see the point that comes through, and everywhere on the Mona is written love, and it's written with hearts. The man had a heart of gold. If I stop this real quick before I lose it, you can see here microscopic, an eye and a face with an ear, and it comes on down, and you can see the tail of a little rat. So while he's building these images, he's got these other images. Here's a wolf in the background. I don't know if you can see these very well. And you got a dog here, and I'm sure you got 10,000 other things you can see. But Leonardo da Vinci had a blast, trust me. Like again, 7 years, $500,000 in labor, and all my money, nearly. And what I'm got for you to know is that I didn't do this when I started off for 1 penny, and that's the God's honest truth. I never intended to make a penny out of this. It was truly from the heart, and I did a book called Passion of Love, and I did it myself, so it's not published out there very well, but I did do a book on it, and I'm very proud of, for somebody who doesn't know how to do a book, it got into a lot of facts and got me deeper into it. You'll actually be able to take my painting and overlay it in many different areas throughout the whole painting, and it fits. So you'll come to know what's also odd, a lot of people don't know. If you see the Mona Lisa's chair down below, it has these poles. These are poles that were running down in there. A lot of people don't know that it's like a rail, and it's really, really, really cool to see things that you never thought you ever could see. I would like for, if you can, if you got time, to hit the subscribe button for me. It would be nice, and the view button and the notification bell. If you can pass on this information to anybody that you think that would be interested, that would be also very, very nice of you. If you see that there's many signatures, there's a signature right in here, but there's also tons of other signatures. There's actually a signature written across here and across her face, and it says Sali, and it says love all over. For example, in code, you have a big L in her arm, and you have an O, and then he uses this V that's in here. He uses this V here, and then he has a big E. He does that also with an L over here and an O, and then he uses the V and then the big E, and he does it and vice versa. Okay, and he uses those in the large. She's plastered with love. She's plastered with innuendos, and she's also plastered with my painting inside it. See, right there is a writing that says Sali. If it's a small one, microscopic, and it says Sali in here. And it's actually a bigger one, because if you actually look at it, you can see how there's a big S turned out of here, another S turned in here, and then he builds his A's and his L's and his A's and his I's. Leonardo da Vinci, let's say you wrote Sali, then he'll write it again right over the top, and again and again and again and again, and he's doing these little micro things inside each letter, like a pyramid that builds the Mona. And so with that, I think I got a little further on this YouTube than I was supposed to. It was only supposed to be a couple minutes. So here's the image that so happens to be I call it the man laying down, but it's only a simulation of a man laying down, even though from a certain distance it is. But that's his trick, and that's got to do with move, shadow, and builds, and another 15 other things to go on top of that. So I'm going to cut this one, can't say short because it went much longer than I thought. And I want to say, listen, wear a mask, wash your hands, say your prayers, keep social distances. If you could do the thumbs up and subscribe and the view notification bell, pass it on to your friends, and wish I could be there on stage to really get into these little details and answer any of your questions on a huge screen. It really needs to go to a movie theater and get into little dots and open them up and show you what these images really are. I do need better equipment, but I am limited at my state. And with that, I got to say, would you God bless the whole world, the universe, and the heavens, and you have a beautiful, beautiful night. I'm going to start this off on my next YouTube to let you know. So there's going to be about 10 YouTubes today. And with that, amen.